Welcome back to Trauma Recovery Anonymous. My name is Richard and I am your host. What do they mean when they say a spiritual solution in 12-step recovery? The truth is that when we suffer with any feelings or thoughts, they are spiritual. They're not something you can place your hands on, not something you can grasp and feel. There's something in the spiritual of life. Our feelings are something we can't hold on to. They're in the periphery, behind the scenes, that jump out in feelings and emotions, but they are spiritual in essence. The Bible tells us that we have two choices. We can worship Him, the God, or we can worship what they call false gods. All our emotions, if we elevate them above what they're meant to be, they become false gods. So if you have embraced the concept of anxiety, and you declare to the whole world, I have anxiety, I suffer with anxiety, I have anxiety disorder, your false god is anxiety. And you're worshipping and revering it and celebrating it and talking about it and giving it all your attention. You've chosen anxiety as your god. And because you've chosen anxiety as your god, you will reap the rewards of that harvest. And if you keep focusing on your anxiety and manifesting your anxiety, you're going to create more anxiety tenfold. By the same turn, if you declare that you have PTSD, and PTSD is who you are and your identity and how you live your life, and it rules and defines you, you've chosen PTSD as your false god. You can't have God and PTSD. You can't have God and anxiety. You can't have God and depression. Either depression is your God and the Christian God is your lesser God, or God is your God, and then you can cast out the demons of the lesser gods. The Christian God has the power to cast out your smaller gods. The smaller gods don't have the power to cast out your Christian God. And for that reason, you're at odds with yourself, because you're going against the person you are meant to be. You're not meant to have your feelings elevated to a state of false godhood that you allow them to rule and define you. That's not how and who you are meant to be, and this is why you suffer so badly with anxiety or depression or PTSD. You've elevated the feeling far above and beyond its meaning. A feeling is just a feeling. We have thousands of feelings, hundreds of thousands of feelings we're capable of in any one moment. And for you to choose one feeling like anxiety to have rule over every other feeling you have is insane. The insanity you're suffering isn't the fact that you've been diagnosed with anxiety or depression or PTSD. The insanity is that you're choosing to be diagnosed with anxiety, depression or PTSD, because they are just feelings. Post-traumatic stress means stress you've suffered after the event. It's not a condition of being. It's an imagination, a fabrication. It's an expression of how a past memory is manifesting into your life. But it's a past memory. It didn't happen to you. You live in these 24 hours today and today alone. You're alive here and now. Pinch yourself and you'd shout, ow. This is where your whole meaning and life is today. You can't step back into the person you were yesterday or last week, or when you were 18 and listened to go off to fight in a war, or in your childhood when you suffered at the hands of abusive parents or dysfunctional teachers or whatever, or you're bullied in school. That happened to a child in your past. That happened to a young man or woman who enlisted to go off to fight in a war. You're the survivor today, and what happened in the past didn't happen to you. But if you decide to replace God with depression, anxiety, or post-traumatic stress, or some other disorder, and you choose that that's going to be your new religion, and your therapy sessions and therapy are going to be your new church and your new priests to worship this, you are choosing a false God to allow to rule your life. But the trick is to understand that God hasn't forgotten you, and God wants to be in your life, but He wants to be the number one God in your life, and to meet Him on His terms. And if you can come to a realization that this is the answer to all mood disorders, to allow God back into your life, to allow God to send 10,000 angels down to protect you and keep you safe, then you will break free of the bondage of the past, of your depression, of your PTSD, and of your anxiety of the unknown future. Except that you don't have anxiety, you're not mentally ill, you don't have a mental disorder, you worry. You probably worry too much, you probably worry more than everybody else, but everybody worries. Everybody gets anxious and they worry about the unknown future, things they can't control, other people's behaviors. We all worry about these things. It's not unique to you. It's unique to you if you decide that worry is a mental disorder. Then it's unique to you because you're choosing to elevate your feeling to a state it's not meant to be. In the same way, if you suffered with a past trauma, whether a younger aspect of you went off to fight in a war, or married a narcissist, or grew up in a dysfunctional home, and you're going back and revisiting that time, you're choosing to give life to a dead thing. And feeling sad or angry or mad or frustrated about what happened to your inner child as your meaning and purpose for life in the present, this is you doing this to you. No one's doing it to you because none of it happened to you. I exist in this moment in time, speaking to you from my office here in Thailand. I'm not a 12-year-old child who suffered a trauma 53 years ago. I'm a 65-year-old man today, a husband and a father, who's teaching people how to break free of the past. So I can't say to you, I was molested as a child, because this 65-year-old man was never a child. I can say I carry the memory of what happened to a 12-year-old child. That's true. But I also realize that what happened to him, not to me. So I can't say I suffered this, I felt this, because it didn't happen to this 65-year-old body. So I might say I carry the memory of what happened to my inner child, and I carry sympathy pains for him as a show of support and solidarity for what he went through. And that would be true also. But then I had to realize that sympathy pains were not mine to suffer. I had to give those sympathy pains back. In the same way when a man's wife is having a baby and he has sympathy pains for her going through the pregnancy, he's not pregnant, he's not going through the throes of it. He may have sympathy pains, but when the baby's born, he lets go of those sympathy pains, give them back to his wife, and he carries on as being the husband. In the same way, you exist today. You may carry sympathy pains for your inner child, for what they went through, but they're only sympathy pains, they're not real. They happened to your inner child. Your whole life is here today. So you grab a sheet of paper and you write at the top of the page the name and age of that younger aspect of you who suffered the trauma. In my case, young 12-year-old Richie. On that page I put everything about his biography. He lives with his parents, in his home in Ireland, with his siblings, and with his school friends, and this, that and the other. And then on my page I put down 65-year-old Richard lives in Thailand with his wife and children. His parents are dead, his family home is sold, one of his siblings died of leukemia, and he goes through this. 5 of his school friends died before the age of 50. And you fill out these 2 pages to see that you are not your inner child. You're 2 completely different people. And so it's wrong for you to tell the world what happened in the past happened to you. You can't say, I have PTSD from a war, when you're not in a war today. An 18-year-old version of you or a 19-year-old version of you who enlisted, they're the one who suffered the war, they're the victim. You're a survivor today looking back at what happened to them. If you were married to a narcissist for many years and now you're no longer with that narcissist, you're looking back at the younger version of you, the bride or groom that you were, who married a narcissist for love and didn't know they were marrying a narcissist and suffered at the hands of a narcissist for all those years. And now you're here on the other side, you stepped away from that marriage and you're safe from it all. And you're looking back and you're a survivor today, looking back what happened to your inner child, that younger version of you who married for love, not knowing they were marrying a narcissist. If, like me, you suffered a trauma in your childhood, know that if you're 40 years of age today, that 10-year-old of you or that 8-year-old of you or that 16-year-old of you suffered an event in their childhood, and you're here 20, 30 years later looking back on what happened to them. You carry the memory of what happened to them, and you carry sympathy pains, but the sympathy pains aren't yours to suffer. And so you have to give these sympathy pains back to your inner child. And you do this simply by completing this healing event. It's a very simple process, simple for complicated people. You're going to give the details and the baggage of what happened to your inner child back to your inner child. When they have those details, they can leave this plane of existence and step into the light. And you do that by doing the 2-hour practice of healing any trauma memory. It takes 2 hours to complete. It's available on the Amazon platform. You can do this on your own. I recommend you do it with somebody else, with your therapist or a family member or somebody you know in your support group. Or contact me at appointments@traumarecoveryanonymous.com and I'll take you through the process. You need to read this book first to know what's going to be happening in the intervention. And I will show you and teach you how to give the past back to your inner child in a safe and non-intrusive manner, that when you're finished, you'll feel the release in your body mentally, physically, emotionally, and most importantly, the hole in your soul will be gone. You'll feel it spiritually. In that moment, you'll know you've given the past back to your inner child. If your therapist, anyone asks you about the past again, you're able to say, I carry the memory of what happened to my inner child. But the details and the baggage of it, I've given those back to him or to her, and they've taken it and stepped into the light. And those details, that baggage is now gone. I can't go and visit it because it's not mine. I don't have those details and baggage anymore. Now I want to live my life in the present. I'll always carry the memory of what happened to my inner child, but it's no longer mine to suffer. And so you embrace the 12-step program of Trauma Recovery Anonymous to undo the learned dysfunctional behaviour of that idea that the past was yours and how it's ruined and destroyed your relationships with your family and friends, and you want to repair those and make amends and restitution. And so these 12 steps help you do that. And then these 12 steps become a design for living for the rest of your days. You do these 12 steps on awakening, on your lunch break, before you go to bed. You might do them on your morning break and your afternoon break. It doesn't become a chore. It's something you embrace each moment of each day to become that person you were meant to be, where you live fully in the present, finding your meaning and purpose in the present by letting go of the past completely. Once you let go of the past, you realize I don't have to worry about the future either. If I give the future to God, He'll take care of it. And all I need to do is focus on this 1 hour now, here and now, this future that is in this 1 hour in front of me. I could be dead in 61 minutes. The world could end. I could drop dead. But for this 1 hour, I'm alive, and I'll do the best I can to embrace this 1 hour of the future in this moment in time. And that becomes your life, your meaning, your purpose, your reason for living, your existence. That your life is to be found only in the next hour in front of you. The past you've given back to your inner child, the details of it. You still have the memory, but the memory isn't yours to suffer. You have a memory like you have all the other memories in your memory bank. You have memories of the past, but the details are gone. And you know then the future isn't yours to suffer because all you have to deal with is this next hour in front of you. This is the program of Trauma Recovery Anonymous. What happened in the past didn't happen to the person you are today. And your whole existence and life is in these 24 hours, most notably the 1 hour in front of you. This is where your whole life is. So look to your family, your partner, your siblings, your estranged partner, your parents, your family of origin, your friends, your colleagues, work. What do you have to do in this 1 hour to be fully alive in this 1 hour today? Getting rid of the past, not looking at the future. Just for this 1 hour, what do you need to be fully alive today? And the place to start is by giving the past back to your inner child, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, through this healing event, Healing Any Trauma Memory, available on the Amazon platform. And then completing the 12-step program of Trauma Recovery Anonymous. And you can do all of that with me on my program, appointments at traumarecoveryanonymous.com. I charge for my time. I charge €60 for this. It will go up to €90 at the end of the year, but €60 for this 2-hour event, and take you to the 12 steps end for free. And then I meet you once a week, once a month, and we'll go through the 12 steps over and over again until you really have a good handle of it. And then you form your own group with people in your area and organise another 12-step group where you'll meet and you share how you're doing in your journey. You'll never look back at the past again because the past has nothing to do with you. You won't worry about the future. You can make plans for the future, but you won't worry about the future today because it may not happen. You'll learn to live fully in this 1 hour in front of you. My name is Richard Tierney. If you know any of the 1 billion people diagnosed with mental disorders, or any of the 400 million children who've been misdiagnosed with mental disorders, tell them about this program. Let them know that they're not mentally ill, they don't have a mental disorder. If they thought they had anxiety, they're a worrier. And if they thought they had PTSD or depression, they can feel sad about the past and angry at the same time. And it doesn't mean that they're mentally ill. Thank you very much.